that is not just for ICTC, but for students all across Indiana County and the region. Really, there's a career fair coming to IUP tomorrow. Good morning.
Good morning, Todd. Yes, tomorrow is our annual career fair sponsored by the Indiana County Counselors Association. It'll be held right at the IUP Field House on campus, and it will begin right around 9 a.m. for some folks that would like to stop by.
Yeah. Now, for students themselves who have not signed up just yet with their particular school, there's still an opportunity for them to come to this?
I would think that they could stop by their guidance office today, sure. And most counselors in our districts throughout Indiana County have been working with primarily the junior class, but I know in a few districts they do it a little differently. Some do bring seniors that are still making those final decisions for their post-graduation plans, and some may bring sophomores as well. So it's really about getting that permission from your school to come. But one of the main reasons that I was motivated to join you this morning is that this is a free community event. We do have over 70 post-secondary schools willing to meet with people tomorrow, and we're expecting between 1,000 and 1,200 students from our schools to join us, but there's always room for more, and I know our post-secondary reps would appreciate meeting with anybody from the community who needs that post-secondary information that they have to provide. Okay,
so we're thinking, of course, about the state system schools, but with all of those different entities, we're not talking just about them. You've got a group of schools coming that will offer educational alternatives of every kind.
Right. We have grown this year to have more than 70 post-secondary schools available tomorrow. These include 2-year and 4-year. Certificate and trade programs are represented. The military is represented. And so there had been some budget cuts, and our numbers had been down a little bit because our reps were not traveling as much. And I think those budget cuts have been lifted some. So now folks are on the road again, and we're pleased to have over 70 schools tomorrow.
Yeah, when you get right down to it, if you do cut the budget and that's where you cut it, then, well, that's sort of cutting off your nose to spite your face, as they say, because those are the people who bring in the revenue by attracting the students.
Absolutely.
So when these students come tomorrow, how is it formatted? They just go in and there are exhibitor booths, or how do
right,
they do
we're
that?
In the gym there in the field house, and each post-secondary school will have a table, and they all bring their covers, and so it's easy to identify the schools, and we have them lined up alphabetically. And so again, it will be easy to find if you're looking for particular schools, and you can just navigate around the gymnasium there, and we have collection bags, so you can pick up as much information as you can hold in that bag, and then you can take it home and review it. And no lie, I mean, you can get a lot of this information online, but really when it comes to big decisions that cost big dollars and are big factors in your future, I think face-to-face meetings are important. And these folks do work in the admissions offices back at their post-secondary placements. And so meeting those folks up front is a good thing, because then when you go for your campus visit as a student or as a parent taking your child, it will be nice to have at least one familiar face on campus to help guide you through that process.
One of the things that parents of seniors are dealing with right now is every day in the mailbox there are probably 5 or 10 flyers from universities, from colleges, trade schools, whatever it happens to be, and they all look wonderful because they're supposed to. They're supposed to be.
They're very attractive.
They're in the business of recruiting students, but when you put a face with a university and you're able to actually speak with them, you get a better sense.
Absolutely. I was just working with a few. I'm conducting senior interviews right now myself, and as seniors are indicating that they'd like to go here or there, but they haven't visited yet, I'm saying you have to visit. You just don't know if that's the right school for you until you take that visit. You need to be on that campus. You need to look around. You need to talk to a few instructors, and you need to make sure that this is a comfortable environment for you for the next 2 to 4 years.
Well, that's very, very important. How many schools do you recommend, or is the current recommendation for a kid to visit before actually choosing one?
You know, that's really on an individual basis. We encounter students of all types. Some students are set on this, and that's their plan, and it's been their plan for 2 or 3 years, and they know they're going there. So for them, there's really no need to take the time to see other schools, because if this school has everything that he or she needs to meet their future goals, then I say go for that. But for some others who find themselves, well, maybe I'll go here or maybe I'll go there, It's good to narrow it down to your top 2 or 3 and really spend some time looking at those schools from a list of your priorities. Is location important? Is cost important? Is programming important? Is extracurriculars important? And so there is a list of many different priorities per individual. And so once they rank those out and begin their visits and have their talks, I think the message becomes clear depending on what the student really wants to get out of their education.
Kelly Fox with us this morning. Now, with ICTC, where you are, students who come out of the Indiana County Technology Center might not necessarily have the same focus for their careers as students who are going on to from another school, from one of the school districts, following the academic curriculum. So those schools will be represented tomorrow as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Half of our students who graduate and leave us at the end of the year will go on to post-secondary of some nature. And that's either a 2-year or a 4-year institution where our students will go. And mostly they're moving on to a program that is directly related to what they've already done with us for 2 or 3 years at the ICTC. So we like to say that ICTC students are already career-minded. They just need to step it out a notch and get that paper if they so choose, because maybe in their future they see a management opportunity.
So 9 to 11 tomorrow at the IUP Memorial Fieldhouse. That place will be hopping with all those kids.
It will. Yeah, 9 o'clock is the prime time. We have a lot of schools visiting. And as I said, we're hosting our schools from Indiana County, but we've also put the invitation out, and we were pleased to know that West Shamokin, Northern Cambria, DuBois Central Christian, and Seeds of Faith will also be joining us, as well as the county schools.
Yeah, very, very important. And moms and dads will be interested in what their kids are going to be bringing home, huh?
Yes.
I bet your mom and dad want to go, too.
Well, they could stop by if they have the time. As I said, it's a free event for the community, and we never mind to have a few extra.
Okay, so there's the invitation to everybody for the event that's happening tomorrow, and it's at the IUP Memorial Fieldhouse. Parking situation, most of the kids coming from schools are going to be arriving in buses.
Right. I know Indiana's bringing 10 buses to bring all of the students that will be attending from Indiana High School. Wow. So there will be some bus situations happening there in that little drop-off area right in front of the field house. And we just have to adhere to campus parking. I know many of us will be parking out at the Robert Shaw building and walking across, and it looks like it's going to be beautiful weather this week.
You're good.
Yeah, so I think a walk across campus tomorrow will be nice for folks.
Yeah.
I also want to mention there is a table specifically for financial aid information, so we have some representatives who can share some FIA information. And so any parent that could stop by might be interested in picking up some of that because, of course, that is up and coming, and new deadlines are now being followed. And so we can begin submitting actually this month because now it's October 2nd already. Yeah,
I was at a financial aid night a few weeks back, and they were talking about, and parents really aren't aware of it until they have to go through this.
That's right.
But there are specific time periods when you are filing for financial aid. When you want to have this done, you want to have that done, and they can get that information there as well.
And I'm going to do a little plug for an event we're doing at the ICTC, and that's on Tuesday, October 17th. We are hosting a financial aid night, and that is presented by a FIA representative, and she's gracious enough to spend at least half of her time with us that evening working directly one-on-one with parents. So any parent that wants to bring in their tax information to fill out their FAFSA form, she will sit in our computer lab and complete that with them. And it gets done a whole lot faster because she knows the answers to all the questions that pop up as you go through that process, especially if you're a first-time completer of that FAFSA form.
Very good. Thank you, Kelly, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Todd. Hope to see you tomorrow at IUP at the Indiana County Counselors Association Career Fair.